Nugget gang, I'm about to bring you the trip report for my Vegas and Colorado trip. But before I get started, two things I wanted to do, and one of them is explain to you about joining the Craps Hawaii Facebook group. I've noticed a lot of you have been declined, and that's because there is a administration assistant from YouTube that if you do not answer the three questions that we asked and also agree to the Facebook group rules, then the assistant in 1 hour will decline your request. So it's not about me, but it's about you're not answering the question. So when you hit the join button on the YouTube Facebook group, try to scroll up. I think it's a scroll up that you'll find three questions about dice and then also the agreement to the group rules. And once you do that, then we can bring you in and accept you as one of the group. So please go ahead and do that. Make sure you answer those three questions and the agreement to the group rules. Secondly, when I go to El Cortez, that's the home of the Craps Hawaii, that I love the dealers there. And one young gentleman by the name of Gerald this time asked me if I could do a shout out for his auntie's produce shack. So I'm giving him a shout out for his auntie, well, his auntie for him now, a shout out for her produce shack. It's called Conchita's Produce, and she has a small stand on the side of the road, I guess. I'm not really sure, but it's a produce stand where she sells produce. So she's located on the big island of Hawaii in the area of Kea'au. And so if you go there and look for her, if you need produce, that might be the place for you to go. Again, Conchita's Produce Stand. Okay, so that's done. Now let's get into the trip report. So I flew out of Maui, Hawaii to Vegas on June 2nd. My flight left here on Maui, left here about 10:30, and I got into Vegas at Vegas time, which was about 7:30. I jumped in the car, went all the way to El Cortez, checked in, and that was on the 2nd. No flights out to Colorado, so I had to wait till the next day and get on United Airlines to Colorado at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So got into Colorado on the 3rd. So I just spent overnight because I couldn't get a flight out at that time to Colorado. So the next day, just spent the night in Vegas. So I was staying at the El Cortez. Of course, you know me, I cannot just go to the room and rest. So went down to the tables, played for a while. Ended up losing $600. So the next morning, like I said, on the 3rd, caught United Airlines, flew to Colorado, where Rick from Let It Roll and Heath, which his channel is called Sleepy 2525, picked me up at the airport. From there, it's about an hour drive to Black Hawk. And so once we got into Black Hawk, we checked into I think the Century Casino where we were staying. Then ended up having breakfast, or just about lunch, I guess. You could call it brunch. And then we, just talk story, caught up on things that we haven't caught up on for a while. And ended up eating and then going to play. So there's a lot of casinos there, yeah. Only thing is like they're in separate buildings, so you can't just walk across like Vegas. You cannot just go across the street and just play another casino. Maybe in one or two areas you could, but other than that, you might have to jump in your car and then travel to another hotel and go check out if tables are full or not. So anyway, we did that. We jumped in the car, we went, and let me get my notes because there are a few casinos there. There's Saratoga, there's Ameristar, there's Grand Z, there's Golden Gates, there's the Century, but the Century took their crap tables out during the COVID times, and so there's only slots there now to play. A lot of tables were $10 tables, but some were 15. So anyway, we did our rounds to all of these casinos, playing every day. So on the third is when I got there. We played all afternoon, evening, and then went to bed late in the morning. Got up early the same morning on the fourth. Had breakfast, and again just continued our rounds. Me, Sleepy, and Rick continued our rounds from hotel to hotel. But so, like I said, sometimes you jump in your car and you go drive, maybe not a long ways, but another a 5 minute drive maybe or less. But then you need to park your car, walk into the casino, and luckily I had my scooter with me, and go check out the crap tables. Now, some of them, because of lack of dealers, they only open half a table. So if you get there and half a table is maybe six, if you pack it maybe eight, depending if it's a 14 or a 12-foot table. So if there were no room for the three of us to play, then we wouldn't play, right? We would look for another hotel. So this is a continuation, which is part of playing in Black Hawk. So we did play all of these casinos that I mentioned, and some were better than others. Some of the table surface was better than others. And anyway, we just made the rounds throughout the day, and we did this every day. Then I think on the fourth or the fifth day from St. Bet came in. Oh, should I got it on video? Well, that's all right. Got three of the friends we with today. Rick, Dave from St. Bet, and Sleepy. Say hello, guys.
Hello, guys.
I think actually on the fourth, Nate Fernandez, who is a Dice Influencer teacher in Vegas, because he lives in Vegas, he came in, and so we got Nate was there with us. He's also known as Darth Nader, because he's kind of the dark side player, although he didn't play dark side while he was with us. He kind of knew better than to do that. Just joking with you, Nate. Well, anyway, and then his student, Dean Gates, lives in Denver, so he came and played with us. And then on the fifth, so they were playing with us from the fourth, the fifth. Sometimes they're doing their own thing at different hotels, but then we also used to meet up, and then we had some lunches together, some dinners together, but basically we were all over the place. Then on the fifth, I think it was, we met Big AZ at I think it was Golden Gates. First time I met Big AZ. He has a channel also, so if you haven't watched his channel, go check out his channel. It's called Big AZ. So apparently he lives in Arizona, right? Very, very nice guy. Finally met him in person. I used to always watch his channel. Very, very funny guy. You gotta go check out his channel when he first started. And we all got together. We all enjoyed each other's company, and just shooting the bull and cranking each other up and joking around. So anyway, we did all these things all the way up to the fifth. Always playing different hotels, going to bed late, getting up super early to play. And on the sixth is when I was leaving, and Sleepy's family was coming in from Massachusetts, where they live. So they were going to have a family gathering, I guess you could say, with his wife's sister and his mother-in-law, father-in-law, and his children. So on the 5th was our last night of playing together. Got up early, hit our Ameristar, and we were just playing around. But anyway, during our days from the 3rd to the 5th, because actually I left on the 6th, we threw some big hands, like in the 20s. I threw like 20 something rolls, So did Rick, so did Sleepy. The only problem is we never threw it like back to back or at the same session. You know, somebody would throw a 20 something roll, we make some money, and then nobody could throw after that. It was mostly point .7, point .7, a lot of rubbish numbers, what I call rubbish, because we're playing 5 through 9. So anything outside of that, or field numbers, I like rubbish numbers because we're not collecting anything unless I was into playing my easy, but I wasn't doing it often enough. So whatever we made, we ended up losing, and it was like a continuation like that. You know, one session I throw great, the next session Rick throws great, maybe the next day or the next session Sleepy throws great, but no really continuation where you know somebody's throwing at least 8 to 9 to 10 numbers that we can sustain our wins. And so little by little, you know, we lost. And then there were some times we just took breaks, and Sleepy and Rick and myself and sometimes David, we put money together and we just go and do slot pools. So we put maybe $20 each. We're down to playing slots now. We got 19 free spins. Let's go, Sleepy, let's go. But maybe I just not used to being there, because the last time I was there was about 2-3 years ago, so not really feeling comfortable with, or settled in, maybe you could call it, with the tables we were playing, and doing a lot of jumping around too, yeah. So anyway, that's my take from the Colorado side, and I think I left Colorado losing maybe $3,700. Now, including the Vegas $600 loss, took me to a $4,300 loss. I wasn't really happy about it, but I enjoy myself whether I win or lose. It's just about having fun, enjoying yourself with your friends, and having a good time. So that's all part of my trip. So anyway, on the 6th, I was leaving Colorado, so Rick, Sleepy, and I was heading towards the airport, and Rick and I was going to drop off Sleepy to meet his wife and his in-laws and his kids. So we dropped him off at some kind of a restaurant where they were at, and Rick and I had some time to kill, maybe an hour and a half or so, before I needed to get to the airport. So we decided, let's go down the road and get something to eat. Pulled into a McDonald's and had some breakfast at the McDonald's while we talked story about our trip in Colorado, you know, what we were doing and how things went. Then he took me, dropped me off at the airport. I think I left Colorado around 12 noon. Took me a hour and 40-minute flight, I think, from Colorado back to Vegas. So got into Vegas and had my crew pick me up at Vegas. So Tasha, Son, and Kevin came to pick me up at the airport. Thank you a lot, guys. So that's the great part about having a crew. They'll, you know, do things and help you out. And so anyway, they picked me up. Thank you very much. So we went back to I needed to go to the hotel because when I left Vegas on the 3rd, I left my big suitcase with El Cortez, and they took care of that for me, thank you. And I just took a smaller suitcase to go to Colorado. So now I'm back. We had El Cortez. I picked up my suitcase, got my room, went upstairs, and put things away, and then back down. So as we came down, you know, we had something to eat, small something, and then Tasha was saying that earlier morning, because they were already there from that day, that they went over to the Fremont and they were playing there, and she had a 22 roll, almost a hat, very close. Proud of Tasha for doing that, because I've been working with this my Big Island crew, which consists of Tasha and Son and Kevin, for only about 3 months. We Skype, and I practice with them through the Skype, and I feel like they are doing very, very well. I'm very proud of them. I watch their betting. They got everything down. I work them hard though, and they take it and they practice. And I'm very proud of them for their very first time on a live table playing my strategies, and they all did very, very well. So anyway, she wanted to go to back to Fremont, try to get a hat, so we went. Played a little there, and then the dice came around to me. First time I picked up the dice in Vegas, and got lucky enough to throw 28 rolls and get a hat. So that was one of the accomplishments that I was proud of, that I got a hat at least for this trip again. And then after that, we went back towards El Cortez and went into Sushi Ichiban, which is right across the street from El Cortez. If you watch my other videos, you see the place right outside. It's $29.95, all the sushi you can eat. Great deal. So we went there to eat and had a good time. Then we went back across to El Cortez and started throwing and just playing for that day and that night, and went to bed late again. So that was happened when I got back there on the 6th. Then on the 7th, got up early again in the morning, went down, had some breakfast, and played again. And so in fact, we went to played for a little while, but then we had to go do our recording at Palace Station. So went to Palace Station. I think we did the recording at 12:30 in the afternoon. Nice people. First time I've been there to do any live recording. In fact, it was the first that they ever had a live recording at the craps table. So I want to thank Palace Station for taking care of us, and they're very, very nice people. So hopefully we'll be back again to record at the Palace Station. Not gonna let you know anything about what happened with our recording. You're gonna have to watch the film when I put it out. So maybe in a few weeks or so. Still tired, so give me some chance to edit it and put it out. Then anyway, after that, oh, and then I'll tell you who was there at the table with us. So at the table with us at that recording, and I need to read it so I can remember everyone. Of course, we had my crew there: San, Tasha, Kevin, and Fuji was there. Daryl from California drove in. He was there with us. Of course, I wish Robert could be there. And Robert, he's been on my practice videos and things like that. He's actually been my longest student, almost a year, I would say. So he's probably the senior from my student class. So too bad he couldn't be there. We missed him. Robert, next time, hopefully you can make it. He couldn't make it this trip. Also, friends on the table with us, Nate Fernandez came again. Darth Nader, he was there. Big AZ asked me while I was in Colorado. He went over to Vegas already, and he asked me if there was a spot for him. He would come and join us. I said, sure, come on down, Big AZ. He's a really, really nice guy. Of course, come on down and join us. Then Kerry Cota, her, Kerry Cota and Darnell, great shooters, great people. So Kerry came down. Darnell couldn't make it. So anyway, Kerry was there. Alfredo Leon, another friend of Fuji's that I met, nice guy. He's a shooter. And Sherwin, which I met at least a year or two ago. He's a friend of mine, and he brings spam musubis. And if you don't know what that is, that's in Hawaii it's rice with a spam and egg, and then wrapped with seaweed. It's a one meal in all. So spam musubi, locals love that. So he brought about 15. Him and his wife made. Thank you very much, Sherwin, and thank you, wife, for us. Really appreciate that. So we were all on the table playing. You know, it's a 3 hour session that we played, so I'm not gonna let you know exactly what happened. So I'm not gonna do a spoiler alert. So you can watch that video; it'll be coming out. So the next day, well, anyway, after that, we of course we had dinner and everything, and then changed, and then came down, played at the El Cortez, and also went to we made the rounds, Fremont, El Cortez, Nugget, back to El Cortez. Because actually, El Cortez right now is the base for Hawaii crap shooters. That's our base station. We love that place. They really take care of us. Um, you know, in there we have Adam Weisberg. He's the general manager there. Nords Malile, he's the director of player development, and they all take care of us. On the floor we have Josh and Patrick, director of gaming, two really really nice people. And like I said, great. I have a lot of respect for the dealers. Some of them are young and they're still learning, but I appreciate that they're putting in the effort. Because if they weren't dealing, there would be no game, right? Because there is a shortage of dealers because of the pandemic, right? COVID. So anyway, I really appreciate those people dealing. There are also, dealers who are more advanced, and because they were dealers from before, and that's good too. Um, my favorite lady, box lady there, Kim. You've seen her in some of my other videos. The lady with the blonde hair. She's on vacation. I think she went to Disneyland or something, and I missed her. But Cece was there, and Cece is another great box lady. And we had great dealers, so I appreciate all of them. We had a good time there. Um, so anyway, we had places to eat like Seagulls, which is in El Cortez. They have prime rib, hamburgers, fried chicken, breakfast, whatever you want. They have it there. If you're dying for sushi, go across the street. They have sushi Ichiban there. But sometimes during the day we just need a snack. Where do we go? We go to the hot dog cart. Great hot dogs. They serve bratwurst and hot dogs, and all amenities with lettuce and onions and ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise, and all those things. So it's like you get a hot dog and a bag of potato chips for like $5. Can't go wrong. So we love that hot dog cart. Again, so anyway, the next day on the 8th, we recorded at the El Cortez. And I mentioned all the people that were there. I guess this time, yeah, I started with Nate. So Nate came besides of all my people that I mentioned that is in my Craps Hawaii crew. Then Billy Chang, Ting is what I call him. He came down. He lives in Vegas. Very, very good friend of mine. And he was the one that started, if you ever heard about the stimulus. Remember we had $1,200 stimulus from the tax returns. Well, he was the guy that started the stimulus strategy where he puts 1,200 across or 1,200 inside, something like that. So anyway, he's that guy. Very nice friend. All the same people were there. Nate, Big AZ. Big AZ didn't make it to the El Cortez. He only made it to the Palace Station. So anyway, all our crew were there, and Jenny also came in to play with us. Kerry was also there again. So we had a great bunch of people playing. And again, we shot for like 3 hours of film there. So that's another video that I will be putting out. Just have to be patient because it takes time to do editing, right? So be a little bit patient with me. So I'll be putting out the Palace Station. I'll be putting out the El Cortez video also. The next morning, after our session of the 8th, on the 9th, we went down early. Had just me, son, Kevin. Nobody else was on the table at El Cortez. It was like around, I don't know, 8 o'clock in the morning or so. So Tasha was sleeping. Fuji was still sleeping. Well, too bad for them because Kevin threw a monster hand and we made a bunch of money, just the three of us. So later on, the phone call went to the room. Hey, you guys better come down because the tables are hitting. There's nobody here. So it took a little while, but within less than an hour, Tasha came down, Fuji came down, and that's when Tasha started throwing. And she hit the all tall, all small. She was ecstatic. You should have seen her jumping around. She worked hard for that. But great job. Kevin did his part. Tasha did her part. Fuji threw well too. I mean, that's when we were making all the money, right? And you did see photos on the Instagram, or you go to our Facebook page, the Craps Hawaii Facebook group page, and you'll see all the photos and us talking about those rolls. So anyway, that was on the during the day of the 9th. Then we went to the Nugget. And it was crowded in there because the Nugget, there's a lot of people. Maybe they had 4 tables running. I know they got 6 tables in there, but they had at least 4 or 5 running. But they were crowded. So when we walked in there, we were looking for some place to play, and I guess the floor person, he saw that, and all these guys wearing the same kind of shirts, all red Craps Hawaii shirts. So he asked us if we were looking for a place to play, and we said yeah, but we cannot get all on the same table. So he was nice enough to open a table just for us. So he pulled dealers from wherever, but he opened up another table. I thought there's no way, with they being this busy, that they would find dealers to open up a table special for us, but they did. So I want to thank him very, very much for doing that for us. And so we had our table all to ourselves, and we had a lot of fun because Carrie was there. Was Carrie? Yeah, I don't know if Carrie was there. I'm sorry, I can't remember. No, she probably wasn't. She went home after we had dinner after our filming. But I had my crew there: San, Fuji, Kevin, myself. I think Alfredo Leon was there. Jenny was there. So had a few of us was there, and then some people wanted to play, so we let them come on the table and play as long as they were respectful, and we had a great time. So again, thank you to the Nugget for opening up a table for us. So after that, we went back to El Cortez, and now it's late on the 9th, and I've got to go home the next day. So we decided to, just play a little while longer. So we went over to Fremont, played a little while at the Fremont. I bought in for 500, and I played, but the table wasn't very, very good. Ended up going all the way down to $76. And I swear I played on $76 because I just didn't want to bring out any more money. I played on $76 for at least almost an hour. $76 plus 76 inside. Collect my $76, ready to press up. 7 up. But San was there, and Kevin and Tasha. So with their bankrolls, they had an opportunity to at least press up the 5s and 9s to 100s and collect some money. But me, $76 trying to work that. Oh, it was a job. But I did it for at least 40 minutes. $76. I lasted on 76. So anyway, after that, we left and went back to El Cortez. And I think I was, just fooling around with slot machines because I'm going home that morning. But ended up on the table again, bought in for another 500 over there. Table was choppy again. ended up losing, I think by the time I was going to leave, I ended up losing 5 at Fremont, and I ended up losing 2 more at El Cortez. So anyway, early in the morning, son, I was so tired I could barely stay up already. So son took me to the airport, dropped me off, and that was on my way home. So for my trip report, like I said, between the first days that I was there in Vegas, between the 2nd and the 6th, 1 day in Vegas from the 2nd to the 3rd, I lost 600. I went to Colorado and lost another 3,700 there, so a total of 4,300 when I got back to Vegas. But with all the good hands that Tasha threw and Kevin threw and Fuji threw, and got lucky and I threw mine for the hat, I recovered all that money, and on the last day I was actually breaking even until I bought in 500 at Fremont and lost that, and bought in 500 at El Cortez and lost $200 more. So for the end of my trip report, being there for 10 days, I lost a total of $700. I thought that was pretty damn good for, being there for 10 days. Plus, tipping here, tipping there, and whatever. But it was a great trip, I feel, that I had. Our next trip will be going up in September 28th to October 5th. That so far is our next trip that we have bought tickets for, and hopefully you'll be able to join us. Before I leave, fasting, people ask me about merchandise. Yes, I do have shirts, and you can reach me at craftshawaii@gmail.com. Any questions, things like that, go to the craftshawaii@gmail.com, and then I will answer those questions that you have. Some people also are inquiring on me giving classes. If you're not on the island of Maui, then it's hard for me to have you come here and practice with me. But I also am giving Skype classes. So if you have a layout, it doesn't have to be a big table. It's just something with a felt layout. Get yourself some chips, some dice, and we'll put together Skype for you, and we'll Skype through the internet, and I can work with you that way. So if you want to do Skype classes, go ahead and also put those questions that you have about it in craftshawaii@gmail.com. So again, to all my supporters and all my subscribers and all the fans and all of you that have tried to join, at least get into the Crafts Hawaii Facebook page, don't forget to answer those 3 questions and agree to the club rules, and we can get you in. So thanks very much for watching this trip report. Don't forget, when you go into the hotels, like I always try to say, please play to stay alive. Or on the other side of that is do what I say and not what I do. Again, thank you very much. We'll see you on the next trip that we take. Aloha.